You said I needed to get in the zone and avoid distractions because there's too many pings and
Yep.
buzzers and whizzes right in my life. So what are some key points that you could use that you could tell people that would help them improve that focus and eliminate the distraction? Because for all of us content creators, no matter what you do, focus and distraction management is going to be a thing. So what would you tell someone to get better at that?
Well, what I like to talk about is a guy named Guy Debord, who wrote a book called Society of the Spectacle in the 1960s in France. And Debord was a revolutionary thinker. He was looking at society and what was wrong with it, and more importantly, our lives and what was not fulfilled in them. And Debord wrote about the spectacle. And in the 1960s, to Debord, the spectacle was the images that surround us of life, that make us feel as though we are living by way of the spectacle, when in fact, would suggest we weren't really living. There's images of adventure all around us, and therefore we don't feel as though we need to have adventure because somebody else is doing it. Okay, we're living viscerally through their adventure. I don't need to fall in love. The magazines have images of people falling in love, and therefore, okay, I feel satisfied by that. Debord suggested that we were not living, but in fact, we're living one arm's length away from living because the spectacle was living for us. So, what would Debord say about TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook, posts on X, direct messages, phone calls, text messages? Debord is probably spinning in his grave like a turbine about this. There is no way through the spectacle. The spectacle has at this point been crafted into high art, the function and form of which consumes us and churns us out completely. So, my suggestion would be turn your phone off for a day. Just try it. Your fear of missing out is going to be counteracted by your fear of diving into what's important to you. And what's important to you, I would hope, is living a life that's full, living a life, period, rather than living by way of the spectacle that surrounds you. Because the spectacle is not going to write your book. The spectacle is not going to create your content. The spectacle is not going to fall in love for you, have an adventure for you, or live your life for you. It is going to distract you and consume you and leave you feeling lifeless. So I think it's essential to turn off our phones. I think it's essential to reconnect with people who are the most supportive of us, the most encouraging for us, and the most empathically, gently critical of us. I don't want somebody telling me that I'm a pile of crap. I want somebody telling me, you know what, Greg, I think you're off base here, and here's why, and here's how it can get better. I want that nurturing support. So I think that when we shut off our electronics, or at least the input mechanisms that keep the spectacle flowing into our brains and distracting us, we do a lot better for ourselves and we do a lot better for our output and its integrity.
Yeah, I love that. So what I've done in my own life, just as an example of how I've applied this, I don't necessarily shut off the phone entirely, but what I did is when I got a new phone recently, I said, all right, clean slate. Like we're not just doing the transfer of the old phone to the new phone. What apps do I actually use and need and want on here, and which ones do I not want? And so now I have an iPhone that's a smartphone, but it has Spotify and podcasts, my podcast app, and like maps. And so no email, no social media, none of that crap because I don't want it. And you know what? You start leaving your phone at home a lot more.
Yep. And it's awesome. And you know what? My friends, and this isn't to speak ill of social media, because we like social media, right? You and I
Yeah.
connected by electronic means. Social media has its moments, certainly. But you know what's interesting about my friends who have quit social media or deleted the apps from their phones or have gotten rid of their phones, whatever it might be? You know what's interesting and in common amongst all of them? They're happy. It's unbelievable. They're happy, right? So I think that what you've done is important. And I actually recently started deleting selective app on my phone that distract me, that I don't need, because I can set aside time to be in front of a computer and interface with those apps. And then that's devoted time that I'm putting into those apps rather than having my life be time that is devoted to those apps.
Yeah, absolutely. Time management, attention management, like those are skills that we all need to have. And if you're creating, you're not consuming. So that's the key differentiator in my mind is be a creator, not a consumer. It's, 15 minutes on TikTok isn't going to kill you, but like understand the allure and make sure it's not overtaking your life.